Well, hey guys, Jonathan Doyle with you once again. Welcome back to the Daily Message. As always, welcome aboard. We've got a good episode today. We're going to be talking about energy levels and motivation. But first, make sure you've subscribed. Hit the subscribe button wherever it is below me here and go and check out all the show notes in the description here because you can get free access to my book, Bridging the Gap. You can book me to speak. You can find out where the podcast versions are, and a whole bunch of other stuff in the description. So please go check that out. Today is the second in a series of listener viewer questions. Today I got an interesting question from Michael. I'm just going to read this out to you and we're going to start to dig in. Let's do it. Hi Jonathan, managing energy levels is a challenge. Feeling the need to be up all the time and maintaining motivation is something many people I chat to struggle with. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. Okay, in the podcast version, as always, I go much deeper into this, so if you want to go check that out, please do so. Let me give you a few high points here. Michael, firstly, thank you for your email the other day. Great to connect with you again, and let's talk about motivation and energy levels, the need to be up all the time in this social media-driven culture. You've only got to spend a few minutes on Instagram or something else to realize that everybody else is perfect. Everybody else has chiseled abs. Everybody else is photographing the perfect seafood buffet on the perfect tropical beach. And the rest of us are sitting on the couch thinking, what did I miss? Why am I not on the tropical beach with the seafood? So firstly, I can agree with you, Michael, that there's this constant FOMO, isn't there? There's a sense that everybody's out there living their best life and the rest of us are just somehow we miss the memo, right? We miss the memo. So I get you. There is this constant need to be sort of homo productivus, right? The human production machine that we're always producing, we're always on, we're always bringing our best self to the game. No, we're not. We're not doing that. We're humans. We're fallible. We die. We get sick. We have good days and bad days. We have times when our energy's up and times when it's not. So the truth is that we are imperfect, contingent beings. We are angels. We are beings capable of creating the Sistine Chapel ceiling and the Taj Mahal, and we're beings capable of the Holocaust. Michael's going, I wasn't quite asking about that, but my point is that we are going to have times when we're going to be on top of the world and times when we're not. So the question is, how can we at least shift the balance a little bit in our favor, right? How can we make sure that, what can we reasonably do in the field of motivational personal development to try and make sure that we are up more than we are down, that we are motivated more than we are dispirited? So I had a few thoughts on this. The first thing for me is my mantra that I keep teaching people now is that the body leads the mind. The body leads the mind. The body leads the mind. If you are feeling unmotivated and in low energy states, I'm convinced that you will never think your way out of them. For many years, I kind of thought that if I could just get my thinking right, if I could just think right and want to do something and make myself do something, then, of course, it would change. And what I've discovered over time is that feelings follow actions. We get the feeling state after the action. So a lot of times, if you're in a low energy state, here are the basics. We are designed to move. So physical movement and physical fitness make a significant difference. Yes, I do ultra marathons. Yes, I do crazy stuff pretty much every day. And I'd have to say, in general, my energy levels are what they are because I do a huge amount of training. Jumped up this morning, smashed out 100 push-ups straight away, and then tomorrow I got a 30K run. So yeah, I do the extreme stuff. If you can't do 100 push-ups, do 1. If you can't run 30K, walk 2. Like, all of us can get more physically active. So Michael, the first thing I'd say is the body leads the mind. Physical movement, physical fitness. And we'll tie into that diet and exercise and sleep. I know they're platitudes. I know we're sick of hearing about it. But the times in my life when I've had a really good performance coach who writes my cycling and running programs and helps me with the nutrition side, my hydration gets done properly, my supplementation like vitamin D, all that stuff gets done properly. I do some intermittent fasting. I do mostly paleo. Not telling anybody to do that. I find that the hard parts of that is that if I'm in a fasted state, my blood sugar gets low and I can get cranky, which is hard when you've got a family. So you got to find what works for you. But I am trying to say in this short episode that physical exercise, diet, nutrition, sleep patterns, no phones in the bedroom, no tech after about 7 p.m. at night. All of these sorts of strategies that I use do help. They do make a difference. So the body leads the mind. Let's get our bodies right. Let's take small steps. Just if you're hearing this, just put a tiny step into action. I'm not telling you to go and run the Boston Marathon tomorrow. I'm telling you just to start moving more, start being more active. That'll get your energy up over time. The other big one is the blood sugar swings. Like when I'm in a real hard training phase, I barely touch any sugars. And I notice that my blood sugar stays really constant for long periods of time and my mental clarity is stronger. But then if I have any sugar, I'm like, just up and down, get tired. So I'm really careful around that. That just helps me. It might help you. The next thing is to give yourself permission to rest. Permission to rest. We need to reframe that rest, because some of us, especially if we're high performers, we see rest as some kind of weakness. We don't want anybody to know we're resting. But I am just convinced, elite athletes are huge on recovery programs, huge on recovery processes. Last year when I was running a ridiculous amount, my coach got me to jump into a frozen pool on after each run. So the water would be often below zero, and I'd come home from a long run. I'd just have like Speedos on. Sorry to put that thought in your mind, everybody. And I'd just have to get in the pool and lower myself in because the frozen water temperatures reduce swelling in the muscles. And it has a profound effect on recovery. So what I learned is that rest and recovery processes are really crucial. So after getting out of the studio today, it's a Sunday, I'm going to get home and Aiden and I are going to watch Jaws. He wants to watch Jaws. I'm going to give myself permission just to crash out with him and watch Jaws and a couple other things we like to watch and just get some rest. So let's put some of this together. Move the body. Take care of the diet and exercise as best you can. Make sure your hydration's right. The other thing, Michael, you mentioned is around motivation and how do you keep motivation. What I want to say is this. If you love what you do, if you have an obsession about what you do, motivation rarely is a problem. A few days ago, I did 2 episodes on Cameron Hanes and his new book, Endure, which I really love. And I did an episode about obsession. You see, when you're obsessed with something, it's highly unlikely you're going to struggle with motivation. So what I want to say to everybody is if you struggle with motivation, if there's something that you really should be doing, want to be doing, but are not doing, what you have is an alignment problem. If somebody said to you, hey, there's $1 million at the end of this Olympic marathon distance track, it's 42.2 kilometers. You need to get to the end of that track and there's going to be $1 million cash. You just got to get that distance. How long do you have? Well, you can have a week, you can have a month, whatever. I can run a marathon 3-4 hours. So I will go and run there and be there in 3 or 4 hours, right? And get my $1 million. But none of you are sitting on that starting line going, do I really want to do this, Like if you're really unfit right now, you will crawl. You will crawl. You will walk and then you'll stop and then you'll walk some more and you will find a way, right? You will find a way to make it 42 kilometers. And some of you will be watching this going, I've never done that in my life, but you would find a way, wouldn't you? You just would. You would find a way. You would find a way to get 42.2 kilometers. Because underneath that is a belief and a desire that is very strong. Because you've got this desire, right? Why? Because there's a belief that if I get that money, it'll change my life. I can bless my family. I can get out of debt. I can do all this stuff. So do you see that? You don't have a motivation problem right there, do you? Because your beliefs and your desire are so strong. So whenever you struggle with motivation, I encourage you to look underneath at your belief systems. What are your beliefs, honest beliefs, not the beliefs you think you should have? That's crucial because sometimes there'll be something that you're doing that's just like, I really should want to do this. I really should desire it. I really should love my job, but I hate it, but I should love it. And then as they say, you're shooting all over yourself. So you got to be really honest, whether it's journaling or talking with people or going for a long walk. You've got to get to the bottom of that belief. You've got to get to that place where you're like, you know what? My motivation problem is because of this belief, or this is what I really feel. I want to give you one qualification here. I'm a big believer that there are many things in life that are just hard. Parenting is hard. Training is hard. Making a real contribution when you're tired and things are against you is hard. So sometimes motivation can just be difficult. There's be something that's just hard. but you've got to push through because it's the right thing to do. Now, this is part of the mystery of living. Which one's which? How do you know? Well, you've got to be mindful. You've got to be deliberate about your own life. You've got to be thinking, is this really matter? Or am I telling myself it should matter? What's really important to me? What am I here to do? What matters to me? Who matters to me? Because, if you try to force yourself to do things that you should think you should do or you feel you should do, you're really dragging on your own energy. Whereas if you're, putting my kids to bed every night, reading them stories is hard. Often, Karen and I are tired, but you do it because it's the right thing to do and because you love your kids. So I'm not saying that you'll always have these amazingly positive feeling states around some things. Some things you just have to do because you got to do them. It's part of showing up. It's part of what you signed up for. It's part of what you're committed to doing in relationships and family and all sorts of stuff. What I'm also talking about, though, is when it comes to career and work and other things, if you struggle with motivation for exercise, just look at your real beliefs. The real beliefs is you will have a belief that says exercise is pain, exercise is boring, exercise is for other people, exercise is not worth the effort, or you'll have a belief like, I'm too overweight, what's the point? Doesn't matter, I won't be able to turn it around. That's a belief. Is it true? Probably not. Most likely, of course it's not. But the belief will drive the motivation. So, Michael, whenever there's motivation problems with staff or with ourselves, it'll be because the alignment's broken somewhere. The desire and the reason for doing what we're doing is broken. And we need to get realigned. And look, the last thing on that is that I said in the podcast that life's pretty short. So sometimes in life we have to do hard things when we don't want to, but you don't want to spend your entire life doing that. If you're doing a job you hate and you're always going to hate it, then I would start looking at what else you could be doing, because if you hate what you do, that's going to channel out into other relationships and other people. All right, that's it. I'm going to finish there. Get moving. Move your body. Increase your fitness. Increase your fluid intake. Increase your sleep. Increase your rest. Do not fall into the social media lie of having to be up all the time and be like everybody else. Best thing you can do is delete your social media feeds like I did, so there's nothing to compare yourself to anymore. You just got to do you. I just got to do me. You don't have to do what you're seeing on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. You don't have to do any of that, all right? You just got to do you. And then finally, look at the underlying beliefs around your motivational issues and problems, because that'll shift you forward. All right, there's a lot there. Please make sure you've subscribed. Hit that subscribe button. Go check out the podcast version. Grab yourself free access to my book, Bridging the Gap. Book me to speak at your conference or event. My name, my friend, is Jonathan Doyle. This has been the Daily Message. You've been a part of it, and I'm going to have another one for you tomorrow.